Managing your taxes. What is a tax? SARS, how do I get tax back from you? I heard people get money back from you. I just thought it was, I'm confused. When is tax season? What? Tax.
Okay, SARS, the tax man, aka the thing that makes us really sad. Okay, so soon as you start working, from the time you get your first paycheck, you have to go and register as a taxpayer with SARS. Okay, the first time you do this, it can be a bit of a mission. Sometimes you actually have to go into the branch to give with a proof of residence and stuff like that. Just check their websites. But generally dealing with SARS is actually not that bad. Like, they're very efficient. You've really got to do it. Okay, so you've got to register. Every year, then all of us who earn more than a certain threshold, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what that threshold is, but most people who are earning any kind of real money, you need to file a tax return every year. Now, a tax return is just a summary of, here is all the money that came in this year, and here, like, from what source, and then here are things that I spent it on that you should give me money back for. Okay. Now, filing tax returns sounds scary and awful, but actually it's something that we should all be very excited about doing. One, because paying taxes is awesome because you're helping to build schools and roads and all the good things. Also, two, because normally what you're doing when you're filing a tax return is you're saying, hey SARS, I've lent you all this money, you owe me all this money back. That's actually what a tax return is about, right? Usually. If you're very rich, it can be about like having to pay tax on a whole bunch of things you don't want to pay tax on, but we're not rich, so it's fine. I'm not rich. So, okay, so the tax year is the first thing that we need to understand. Now imagine on New Year's Eve, like as you're getting your pre-drinks on, you had to suddenly remember, oh shit, like December 31st, I've got to like submit my tax return. No one would ever submit their tax returns. So because of that, the tax year doesn't run 1 January to 31st December. It runs from the 1st of March to the 28th, 29th of February every year. So that's the tax year. So the 2017 tax year is the one that ended on the 27th or 28th of February 2017. Okay, so that's the tax year. Now, you also don't have to like file your taxes on the first day of March for the year that's just finished. Sometimes you need to take some time to reflect on what happened, wait for forms and stuff. So from the 1st of July, I think, of that year, so the year ends in February, and then from the 1st of July, you can file your tax return. The deadline is normally November, so you've got that window. Very clever people file their tax return in July because then it's done, they don't have to think about it, easy breezy. Most people wait until the very last minute, and then SARS is a mess, and if they have to get on the call center, all the lines are jammed, so try not to do that. Try to like get it done as early as you can. Now, when you're filing a tax return, you have to tell SARS about any money you earned, even if you have a side hustle or whatever. If you have a normal job, normally most of the reporting of your taxes is done by your company. It's called pay as you earn tax. You'll see it on your pay slip normally. If you have spent money, so then mostly what you're focusing on is deductibles. Okay, so a couple of important things to think about as deductibles. If you've been investing any money in something that has tax benefits, so that means you have some kind of retirement policy, or you have a tax-free savings account, which is this really cool thing that I didn't talk about in the savings section, but we should. Actually, you're allowed to spend 30,000 Rand, and you're allowed to invest 30,000 Rand every single year and get a tax benefit on, like, pay no taxes on the growth of that fund, which is like a really cool little tip everyone should use. So if you've invested any money using that wrapper, and then there's a whole bunch of other things that you can do that the government will actually give you a tax refund for. So for instance, if you have a medical aid, if you have a side hustle and you've spent any money for that side hustle, related to that side hustle, like for example, if you are a freelance photographer on the side and you bought a really fancy camera, that is deductible because it's helped you to earn an income for your side business. So there are a number of things that are things you can list. Just go check online, there's some really good articles about that kind of thing. If your tax life is complicated, specifically if you're a freelancer, it's almost always worth, I have found, paying someone to help you do your taxes. It costs about, like, my guy cost me, like, I won't say exactly, but between 500 to 700 Rand for a tax return. It's not very expensive. And every time he's saved me more money by showing me things that I can claim for that I didn't know that I wouldn't have worked. Oh, other things that are deductible are donations to charities if they're tax refundable. There's a number of things.
Do I have to keep slips?
Okay, so technically, if you're going to claim, you do need to keep your slips. You don't need to submit them when you submit your tax return. You only need to have them if you get audited. So it is a responsible thing to do. To be perfectly honest, I've never kept any slips. I've also never been audited. I do have very good like bank records though, and because I use 24/7, I have a very good transaction history. So I'm quite confident that if people needed me to prove I did actually go and buy that thing that I said I did and was for its purpose, that I could prove it. But basically that's why you're keeping the slip, is in case someone is like, this does not add up. That does not look right. I think actually that wasn't a client's lunch, that was you having lunch with your friends. Like, you need to be able to prove somehow, like, no, you know. So yes, you should technically be keeping all of your slips. If you are a freelancer, it's a smart idea. Have a shoebox and anything related to that kind of thing, just keep a slip. So if you're a freelancer, something else to bear in mind is you might have to pay provisional tax. Now, that means that in January, you have to make this additional tax. You might have to pay an additional tax bill. So this is for people who are entrepreneurs or are earning very irregular income. That's because if your company is not paying your tax for you as you're getting paid, SARS is worried that you're going to take all of your income because you're not having the tax taken off, and you're going to spend all of it. And then at the end of the year, SARS is going to be like, I want 30% of that, and you're going to be like, I don't have it. So they try and like get you to break up your payments into two. Again though, if you are a freelancer or an entrepreneur full-time, your tax life is probably worthwhile getting a tax practitioner to help you, because there are so many things you can claim for. It's almost always worth it. Yeah, there are some sort of services online that help you submit your tax return. Like there's this thing called TaxTim, which is a paid service, but honestly e-filing is pretty easy to use. You just need to get hold of anyone you might have investments with and get all the right forms. But again, there's very good stuff online about it. Yeah.
Okay guys, so I hope you were able to take this journey with us and to see, you know, like imali is a very emotional, you know, situation. It's hard to talk about money. Sometimes you don't even want to like acknowledge the fact that actually you're bad. You're a bad spender, you're terrible with money. Or you could be good, but like we just don't know what to do. You could be good and you just keep imali under the mattress. As 2 Chainz says, used to treat the mattress like the ATM. Like, you know, stuff like that. You could have been saving your money, you could have been doing something else, you could have been investing in bonds. What is it? High risk, whatever. There's many things, right? And so, as hard as it was for us to like, first of all, you need to acknowledge the fact that you want to do better with imali yako, because that's already like the next step of Ubuti, you know, you're trying to change your life. And it doesn't have to be big things like, you know, oh, now I'm doing this. Small steps. Uzwilu Sam was just talking about longevity. You're thinking far, 65 years. You're thinking, you know, when I'm old, you know. Nazi Abazaletu didn't just get to where they are now here. Even if, you know, some of our parents are still struggling. I saved this just so that you could, you know, when you go to school, I knew you were gonna, you know, small things, it's literally small things like that. It doesn't have to be like ball of money.
Yeah.
But
I think what I appreciated with the conversation from Sam is just the fact that, like, I know that we always hear it, but there was just a lot of the stuff that she was saying that just simplified everything and summarized everything, and I hope that you guys got the same thing. But do as per usual. Comment, share, like, watch, and most importantly, subscribe. We're getting closer to 5,000 Mara and Funubus Faga. Trying clicking on subscribers along there. What's getting hips? What is actually going on? Why don't you guys want to subscribe?
why don't you?
Just kidding. But see you guys next week. We have Nandi Futi. It's going to be the last episode of this financial month. Yes, it will be.
What?
He heard this dinner is going to be the last.
The last.
So you know what you have to do, guys. Keep watching us. Keep following us on the Twitter streets. Commenting everywhere. We're ready to respond to everything.
Any banks that offer tax, like I know Capitec has like a tax section. I don't know what it does because obviously I don't do taxes. But like worth looking at. worth,
I haven't checked them out, but
Okay.
generally everything I've ever seen that Capitec has built has been really good. So I don't know, go have a look. Tell me. I don't know. Yeah, my tax life is quite complicated because I own a business, so I have a tax guy and he is wonderful. He saves me so much money.